Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our technical English lesson. This is our second lesson on engines. In our last lesson, we numbered 6 diagrams in the correct order after reading the description of the 4-stroke cycle engine. In this lesson, we're going to be using the same text, and we have 3 objectives. Number 1 is to identify what given words refer to in a text. And number 2, to find the synonyms of 4 phrases in the text. Synonyms means words with the same meaning. Number 3, use when, as, and which to join 6 groups of sentences. Now, let's start by looking at some keywords. You will notice that 1 to 4 are not new, so look at the pictures and read the meanings to refresh your memories. We will concentrate on 5 and 6. Read after me. Simultaneously, simultaneously, sequence, sequence. Now, simultaneously means to happen at the same time, just like these guys are jumping at the same time. We say they are jumping simultaneously, while sequence means to happen one after the other. Just like these guys are now jumping after the other, we say they are jumping in sequence. Now, open your books to page 61, course book, please. You'll see this exercise at the top of the page, and it says, what do these words refer to? What does this mean? It means that these words are used to replace some words mentioned before. Our task is to find which words they replace. Now, we will do number 1 together. First, we read the word and we read the options, and you do the same for the ones you will do on your own. So, the word is which, and our options are the cam, B, the rotation of the cam, C, the movement of the valve. Now we know the word and we know the options. Now, we go to line 5 and read the part of the sentence that has our word, that is which. So now when we read, we have which opens the intake port. Clearly, this shows that something opens the intake port. What is it and how do we find out? To find out, we need to go to the beginning of the sentence and read. This makes the valve move downwards, which opens the intake port. Clearly, you can see that the movement of the valve is what makes the intake port to open. So our answer is C. Pause the video and do 2, 3, and 4. Now let's check our answers. Number 2 is B, number 3 is A, number 4 is B, and number 5 is C. So let's go to our next exercise, exercise 7. In this exercise, we're going to find words in the text that mean the same as these phrases. Number 1 is at the same times. If you notice, in front of each question, in front of each phrase, we have something in brackets. Here we have one word. It means that your answer is going to be one word. And here we have 2 words. This means that your answer will be 2 words. Great. So now, this one here, let's come here to compression stroke. As the crankshaft rotates, it makes the piston move up the chamber towards the valves. Simultaneously, the cam above the intake valve rotates and allows it to close. This means that these 2 actions here, they happen at the same time, and this is the word that indicates that, simultaneously. So at the same time means simultaneously. Pause the video and do the rest. Let me give you a little something, like a clue. For number 2, you'll find the answer in line 12. Number 3, you'll find the answer in line 5. So I advise you to read both line 4 and 5 so that you can find the correct answer, while number 4 is on line 14. And I advise you to read 13 and 14 so that you can get your answer. So, and then we will check our answer. So we have torsion, intake port, and we have exhaust valve. Now let's move on to our last objective, that is to join groups of sentences using which, as, or when. So now, first of all, let us look at when do we use as and when do we use when. We use when if the two actions happen in sequence. For example, here, when the spark plug ignites, the gases explode. I want you to notice the structure of the sentence. We start with when, and then we separate the two actions by a comma. And as is used when the two actions happen simultaneously. It has the same structure. We start with as, separate the two actions by a comma. Sometimes it is difficult to know if the actions happen in sequence or simultaneously. In this case, we can use either when or as to give the same meaning. For example, these actions, we are not sure whether they happen in sequence or simultaneously, so we use when or as, and there's no problem. Now, quickly, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the structure of the sentence so that it will be easier for us to join our sentences together. So now let's read this. And when the spark plug ignites, the gases explode. As the piston moves up, it compresses the fuel. Now, let's answer two questions so that the structure of the sentence will be clearer to us. Now, which words do the sentences begin with, and what sentences are used? Now, clearly here, they begin with when or as, and the tenses here. Did I hear you say present simple? Correct, you're right. So we have the sentences begin with when or as and are used in the present simple. Second question, how are the actions separated? Of course, this is very easy. You can see from here, they are separated by this little comma here. So the two actions are separated by a comma. And which here is used to give more information about the situation. And it is separated from the rest of the sentence by a comma. So let's do the task. Here, number 1, we have the piston moves up. At the same time, the exhaust valve opens. This lets the burnt gases escape. So we have one action here, we have the next action here, and we have a word here at the same time. And we have some more information about the situation here. So now, first we need to, the question says, do not use the words in italics. So we're going to have to eliminate this word. But to do that, we have to find another word that can replace it. Now, which word do we use when actions happen at the same time? Is it when or as? We use as. Very good. So now, remember the structure. We start with the word itself. Then we write the actions, we separate them by a comma, and then we will add the information. This time around, we replace this with which, but we have to take away the full stop and replace it with a comma as well, just like this. As the piston moves up, the exhaust valve opens, comma, which lets the burnt gas escape. So you do the same for the rest. It's immediately, this is when, and then simultaneously as well you have as. Okay, so very good. You still have 3 more questions in your books. Do them on your own, and you can send me a copy on Teams. Now, quickly let's sum up the grammar. You can join a pair of sentences into one single sentence with when and as. Use when if the 2 actions happen in sequence, and use as if the 2 actions happen simultaneously. This is a reminder for you. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you in our next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.